What if you ran into someone who looked exactly like you and the whole world was watching? For celebrities, that moment isn't rare, and when it happens, things get funny, awkward, and sometimes unreal.
I'm the Terminator. Who are you? I'm the Terminator.
These are the wild, true moments when stars met their real-life doubles and everything got weird fast. People love saying everyone has a lookalike somewhere in the world. Most of us laugh it off and never think about it again. But when you're famous, that idea stops being a theory and starts becoming a reality. When your face is everywhere, when millions of people know what you look like, it becomes a lot easier for someone to walk into your life and make you question your own reflection. That's what this video is about. Real moments when celebrities came face to face with people who looked just like them. Some of these meetings were funny. Some were awkward, some were genuinely heartwarming, and a few were so uncomfortable you can almost feel the secondhand embarrassment through the screen. If you've ever wondered what it would be like to meet your own double, keep watching because these stories get wild fast. Let's be honest, seeing someone who looks like you is already strange enough, but seeing someone who looks like you while the whole world is watching hits on another level. One of the most talked about reactions ever came from Cristiano Ronaldo. A fan showed up absolutely confident that he looked like him. Same haircut, same confidence, same walk. You could tell this guy had spent a lot of time believing he nailed the look. He was smiling, excited, probably expecting a laugh or a compliment. Ronaldo looked at him for maybe half a second before shutting the whole thing down. No hesitation, no soft landing. He told him straight up that he didn't look like him at all, not even a little. Then, just to make sure the message landed, he joked that the guy was ugly. You could see the fan try to laugh, but yeah, that moment stung. It went viral, not because it was mean, but because it was so raw. No script, no filter, just an honest reaction that caught everyone off guard. Not every celebrity reacts like that though. Some moments turn into something genuinely special. A Wednesday Addams cosplayer once showed up dressed perfectly for the role. Same outfit, same expression, same energy. She thought she was just another fan showing her love for the character. Then Jenna Ortega walked in. The reaction was instant shock. You could see it on her face. Jenna didn't rush past. She didn't wave and disappear. She stopped. She looked her up and down. She complimented the outfit. Then she invited her to come inside and see the set. That wasn't planned. That wasn't for clicks. It felt real. That moment stuck with people because it showed what happens when someone chooses kindness instead of awkwardness. Confusion creates comedy gold, especially when Conan O'Brien gets involved in it. Conan has met more people than most of us ever will, but even he wasn't ready to sit across from someone who looked almost exactly like him. Same hair, same facial structure, same awkward presence. At first, the conversation felt stiff. You could tell neither of them knew how to react. Then Conan did what he does best. He leaned into it, hard. He turned it into a bit. They went out together. They talked to strangers. They confused people on purpose. Conan introduced himself as Conan, while the other guy stood right next to him, also claiming to be Conan. People didn't know who to believe. Instead of being uncomfortable, Conan turned it into one of the funniest social experiments ever. That's what happens when someone chooses to have fun with it instead of fighting the moment. Now imagine meeting your lookalike live on television. No editing, no second takes. That's exactly what happened with Gordon Ramsay. A man showed up who looked shockingly similar to him. Same face, same voice, same expressions. The difference was simple. He couldn't cook. Gordon, a man known for yelling at people for a living, was quiet, genuinely quiet. The lookalike asked him for help with cooking, while casually pointing out how similar they looked. Gordon looked like he didn't know whether to laugh, deny it, or walk away. Watching someone who thrives on control suddenly lose it was part of what made the moment so funny. Sometimes the confusion doesn't come from the celebrity. Sometimes it comes from the fans. There was a moment where a Taylor Swift lookalike accidentally crushed someone's expectations. The resemblance was strong enough that a fan fully believed they were meeting Taylor. Screaming, crying, full excitement. When the truth finally came out, the disappointment was immediate. The lookalike wasn't trying to trick anyone. She was just existing. But that resemblance alone was enough to flip emotions in seconds. It was one of those moments that reminded people how powerful appearances can be. Not everyone finds these situations funny. Dr. Phil definitely didn't. When When he encountered his lookalike, there was no playful banter, no jokes, no patience. He shut it down instantly, told the guy he didn't want to talk to him, called it disrespectful, walked away. It was tense and uncomfortable to watch, but it also showed something real. Not every celebrity wants to see another version of themselves, especially when it feels like a parody instead of a coincidence. Things got weird in a different way when Jonathan Cheban found someone who looked just like Kim Kardashian. Same face, same style, same presence. Jonathan was so shocked that he immediately made sure Kim saw it. When Kim arrived and saw her own double, her reaction said everything. It wasn't fear or anger, it was disbelief. That moment felt surreal because it showed how close resemblance can get without crossing into imitation. Then there's Conor McGregor, whose lookalikes seem to pop up everywhere. Two of them once went out just to have fun. No big plans, no expectations, but their performance was so convincing that people stopped to watch. Crowds gathered, phones came out. Then there was another guy whose face wasn't even visible, but his voice, delivery, and confidence were so accurate that when Conor himself heard it, he was genuinely confused. He didn't laugh, he didn't brush it off, he was speechless. That's how you know someone nailed it. Sometimes the lookalikes aren't just random fans, sometimes they're famous too. Will Ferrell and Chad Smith are the perfect example. Same face, same hair, same energy, so similar that Jimmy Fallon brought them together just to see what would happen. The moment they stood next to each other, the crowd lost it. They joked, they argued, they competed, and eventually they let the drums settle the debate. Instead of being annoyed by the comparison, they embraced it. That's why that moment still gets shared. Druski has seen thousands of people walk into his show, but one day, someone walked in who looked exactly like him. Not close, not similar, identical. Druski couldn't even pretend to stay calm. He called him his twin, his brother, like they'd been separated at birth. The energy was chaotic in the best way. Then things escalated when Timothée Chalamet showed up. His lookalike was waiting too. Same style, same mannerisms, same tone. Watching them interact felt unreal, like a glitch in reality. They joked back and forth, copied each other, and leaned into the moment without forcing it. Then there's generosity. The Rock met his lookalike and chose to do something unforgettable. He didn't laugh him off. He didn't dismiss him. He showed appreciation, gave him respect, and surprised him with a truck. That moment hit people differently because it showed what happens when someone uses their position to lift someone else instead of pushing them away. Adam Sandler had a similar reaction when he met his younger lookalike. He didn't feel threatened. He didn't deny the resemblance. He joked that the guy was a better version of himself. They laughed, bonded, and formed a real connection. Adam has always come across as someone who values people more than ego, and that moment only confirmed it. Ben Stiller once turned the whole idea of lookalikes on its head by becoming one himself. When he impersonated Tom Cruise, he didn't treat it like a joke. He treated it like a role. He committed fully, and that's why it worked. Sometimes resemblance isn't about genetics. It's about energy. Matt Damon and Mark Wahlberg deal with being mistaken for each other so often that they came up with a plan. If someone confuses them, they don't correct it. They just go along with it. Smile, say thanks, sign autographs. What started as confusion turned into an inside joke that only made them more likable. Daniel Radcliffe still gets mistaken for other celebrities all the time, even years after his biggest role. Seeing his lookalike was eerie. Same expressions, same movements. It was like watching a mirror breathe. Logan Paul once met his double, and even his friends struggled to tell them apart. Same voice, same attitude, same behavior. The resemblance was strong enough that nobody questioned it. Micah Richards loves banter, but even he wasn't ready when his show introduced another Micah Richards. The reaction was pure shock. No comeback, no jokes, just disbelief. Nina Dobrev once received an award from her own lookalike, Victoria Justice. Two faces on one stage, and the resemblance was impossible to ignore. The crowd didn't know where to look. Talk shows thrive on surprises, but spotting your twin in the audience hits different. Hosts freeze. Crowds react instantly. Steve Harvey has seen it so many times that it barely phases him anymore. He even admits some of his lookalikes might be better looking than him, and that honesty is exactly why people love him. All of these moments prove the same thing. Fame doesn't make you one of a kind. It just makes the discovery louder. Somewhere out there, someone might be walking around with your face, your expressions, your presence. And when those worlds collide, the result is almost always unforgettable. Sometimes it's funny, sometimes it's awkward, sometimes it's genuinely touching, but it always reminds us that no matter how different we think we are, we're not as unique as we believe. And honestly, that's what makes these moments so interesting.